Hey guys, welcome back for another Bridgerton Season 3 review. Dearest gentle reader, while most seasons of our Fair Marriage Mart follow a predictable pattern, this author likes it most when there is a surprise. So music is playing in the background. We see Penelope and Colin, and they're standing outside of the Bridgerton household. As she puts her hand in his, I'm sure that she understands at this moment that everything for her is going to change. They walk into the Bridgerton household. It is said that surprise is one part secrecy and one part speed. Penelope looks like she's in a daze. And last night, an announcement came with great speed indeed. Colin looks on at his family and he says, "We're engaged." And everyone's reaction is great with the exception of the hater in the corner that's named Eloise. I don't get why she's so upset with Penelope, but let's continue. Lady Bridgerton gleefully embraces Colin, and you see Hyacinth run over to Penelope, and even Francesca is embracing her future sister and her brother. You can feel the love. Hyacinth says, "It's just, we've known Penelope for all these years, and now she's to be my sister." She's excited. Lady Bridgerton lets them know that she's delighted for them both. Meanwhile, Eloise is pissed. She is hot. She has this sour expression on her face, and Francesca notices it, and she makes a comment about it. Eloise ends up walking out the room, and Penelope goes to follow her. She says, "My brother, are you quite serious? For how long has this been going on?" And Penelope says, "It's very new. I'm just as surprised as you are." She says, "How long have you had feelings for him?" Seems to me like Eloise questioning everything at this point, including her friendship. But I don't understand how, if she was such a good friend to Penelope, how she didn't see that Penelope liked Colin. We saw that she liked Colin. Even Marina, who was with them for a matter of a season, saw that she had feelings for Colin. So how doesn't she get it? She says, "You know what? Do not answer that. I don't want to know. You cannot marry him. Does he know that you are Whistledown?" Penelope says, "No, he does not know. Please, Eloise, please don't tell him." Colin is not like Lord Devlin. He will not be gone for years at a time. He will find out. And until he knows the real you, he cannot possibly love you. It just goes to show you how much of a juxtaposition that Penelope is in, because she's so excited about this love, and yet she has her once friend holding over what she knows about her over her head. She says, "You're right, but please just let him hear it from me. I just need a little time to find the right moment, but I will tell him, you have my word." And she walks out. Regardless of how it happened, it is surely a wonderful time for the happy couple. We see Benedict in bed with the widow Lady Arnold again as she reads Whistledown. Benedict says, "Is that Lady Whistledown? I think you would find her rather common." And Lady Arnold laughs and says, "It is anything but common to be a lady who speaks her mind. In fact, you might want to read this one." And you hear Benedict say, "What?" At the Featherington house, everyone is at the table but Penelope, as one of the husbands reads Whistledown out loud. It is said that surprise is one part secrecy and one part speed. And last night, an announcement came with great speed indeed. Maybe I should read it like her. It is said that surprise is one part secrecy and one part speed. And last night, an announcement came with great speed indeed. Penelope is on the other side of the door now. It may come as a surprise to all that Mr. Bridgerton's rumored assistance in helping Miss Featherington find a husband has instead led to the two of them finding each other. Her sister chokes on her tea. Lady Featherington is shocked and upset. Meanwhile, at the Danbury household, you see they're reading an article too. So Lord Arnold asks if his sister did this, and she says no, but I'm rather pleased by it. Excuse me. Back at the Queen's palace, the Queen is preparing to be buried in the scandal sheet based on what happened at the ball with Francesca leaving early with, I can't remember his name, the Marquis standing on the floor. Charlotte says, I let my guard down for 1 week, and then my sparkler refuses the lemonade from my Marquis. I can only imagine the analogies Whistledown will see fit to make. She will compare me to a sour fruit or find some impudent quotation to ridicule me in. Brimley walks in and he reads it. Miss Francesca Bridgerton is also making the most of the season. Her eye seems to no longer be on the Marquis Samadani and instead on John Sterling, Earl of Kilmartin. Certainly a fine match. The Queen says, is that all? He says, yeah, Your Majesty. So now the Queen is bothered because that's all that says. Later on, she ends up letting it be known that whoever finds Whistledown is going to get £5,000, but we'll get to that. We see Kate and Anthony arrive, and there's so much going on. They have a secret, which is she's pregnant. Anthony is excited, and he wants to announce it to all of Mayfair, but Kate feels like they should allow the engaged couple, as well as Francesca, to enjoy the spotlight, which is very considerate of Kate. They walk in, and they are greeted with not just a bunch of hugs, but with Colin, and they too are happy for him. Cut to Eloise and Cressida. Eloise at this point is making this engagement about her, and it's extremely annoying to me. She's saying that Penelope used her, that she met Colin first, which leaves her to thinking that she got close to her to get to Colin. As I said before, she's on my nerves. While she's over there complaining about her brother actually having a love match, Cressida is struggling because she's expected to marry a Lord Greer. We see him later on in the thing. It's an arranged marriage. Not only is he old enough to be her great-grandfather, but he seems to want to suppress what makes her her. As his wife, she's told that she'll only be able to wear gray or brown, that they will only be attending 1 ball a month, that he wants 4 or 5 kids, and that she cannot socialize or do a bunch of shopping, which is the one thing that she told Eloise they could do in order to break up her unhappiness. So she has a plan. She's going to get the £5,000 by finding Whistledown. Back to Anthony, Benedict, and Colin. They're discussing how quickly everything seems to be going with Penelope in this engagement. They have a conversation that involves the guys trying to make sure that he isn't marrying Penelope just because he sampled the goods. Anthony says, come on, you must admit it. It's rather sudden. Colin says, what was sudden was my last betrothal. So I cannot blame either of you if you are prone to think me foolish. My feelings for Penelope are not a thunderbolt from the sky. I have known her a very long time, and perhaps I have always felt something for her. My only foolishness this time was not realizing it sooner. Anthony says, have you said these words to her? He says, the final part, the betrothal, it did all happen rather swiftly. Anthony says, it's swift because you. Benedict says, are you going to duel your own brother? Meaning they're trying to figure out what he did. Anthony says, well, you're marrying her and for all the right reasons. It seems that's all that matters. But tell her, basically let her know how you feel. They then toast to the ladies and he heads to Penelope. For my favorite scene of the episode, you all let me know yours. The scene where Lady Featherington is finally put in her place by Colin. You hear her say, this is how I hear of my daughter's engagement. You hide out in your room all day and you let me read about it in Whistledown. She says, I did not much feel like announcing the happy news to you. Lady Featherington says, happy? Is that what you think this is? Penelope says, what else could it be? I am to be married. Lady Featherington says, Lord Devlin was a reasonable match, a reach to be sure, but with all his I always say this wrong. With all his eccentric eccentricities, it was a secure match. And you've thrown that all away to play out what? a fancy on the neighborhood boy who happens to be the most desired man of the season, showing that her own mother doesn't see just how wonderful Penelope is. She's talked down on her all her life. I do not think it's unreasonable. Colin cares for me. Has he told you that he loves you? So, of course, now she's questioning it all. Her mother is ripping into her and acting like she set up Colin or she tricked Colin. Oh, Penelope, do you remember how the Bridgertons treated us like dogs when Marina's scheme was uncovered? Now you've been out all hours of the night with no chaperone, and then you traipse in this morning with news of an engagement to the very same Bridgerton boy, using Lord knows what wiles to entrap him. So she's accusing her of maybe doing the same things that Anthony and the guys were trying to find out if it happened. But the way she did it seemed cruel. If my mother spoke to me like that, the moment that I was married, I would have nothing more to do with her. Colin walks in and he checks the mess out of Lady Featherington, and I loved every minute of it. He says, I will not be staying long, but since we are speaking so freely, she says, that was not meant for your ears. He says, I am still speaking. Your daughter did not entrap me. I proposed to her out of love, nothing less. And were you not so narrowly concerned over your own standing, you might see that Penelope is the most eligible amongst you. In the future, I advise you to not sully our Bridgerton name by suggesting otherwise. I said, yes, Colin, yes. Yes. In that very moment, we see Colin become a man. It's one thing for you to profess your love for someone. It's something completely different when you stand up and you protect that person. And that is what he did in that moment. Next thing we know, Colin tells Penelope, let's get out of here. They leave. He takes her to this place. We find out it is their new home, a place where she can finally feel seen and safe. She doesn't have to deal with the schemes of her mother or her sisters. She can just be. He tells her, I know that it doesn't look like much now, and he's taking drapings off of things. He says, but we can fix it up with whatever you want. Her facial expression doesn't show that she likes it because she's still thinking about what happened at her mom's house. So he's worried that either she doesn't like it or she's worried because there's no staff there and alone. She says, do you not realize how much that meant to me? What you said to my mother, no one has ever stood up for me like that. He says, oh, I will always stand up for you because I love you, Pen. She says, are you sure? This girl does not even know her own worth. She is an example of what years and years of someone belittling you and tearing you down will do, especially when that person is your mother. He says, everything I said to your mother is true, and you should see that. He takes her to the mirror. She's standing in front of him, and he's standing behind her as they look on at her reflection. He says, you are the cleverest, bravest woman I have ever known. You make me feel seen in ways I have never felt seen before. And then there is, and he pulls out the pin that's holding her hair up in place, and her hair cascades down. He says, the way your hair cascades down on your shoulder, the way your eyes shine when you look at me like two blue pools, the firmness of your lips parted just so, the softness of your skin. He is telling her how beautiful she is, and he's letting her know how much he desires her. He says, and then there are other parts I've been dreaming about. You must tell me to stop if you do not wish for this, because he's feeling all on her, kissing all on her neck. She's like, I do not wish for you to stop. She's panting and she's moaning and he's breathing all hard. The breathy breaths. He begins to undress her, and we actually see her breasts. Penelope looks beautiful. People were saying cruel things to her. I heard online about nobody wants to see that, whatever. She looks beautiful. And for all the haters out there, act like this is a middle finger. Sorry, I'm just saying. The fact that people from the cast had to speak up and say to leave her alone, it just shows how close-minded people are, because she looked beautiful. So he undresses her. The next thing you know, he tells her to lie down. And as she's laying down, he undresses himself. And when he pulls down his pants or unbuttons them, you see her eyes go like, oh, okay. It's probably the first time she's ever seen one. She gets choked up. He tells her how beautiful she is, and he kisses her, and he continues to kiss her. And he is making sure that he doesn't go faster or further than she wants to go, because unlike Penelope, Colin has done this before. He lets her know that she doesn't have to do anything. She says, "Tell me what to do." He says, "You can touch me anywhere." And she, is touching his head and stuff like that. And then she goes to reach down there, and he's like, not yet. He doesn't want her to rush. He warns her that this may hurt, but it should only hurt for the first time. He asks her if she's ready. Even though Colin has done this, I see a little bit of nervousness in him. You all who watched it, tell me what you think. It's one thing to just do things to satisfy yourself, but it's another thing when you're doing something because you love a person and you want them to experience satisfaction in the experience. They end up making love. He doesn't pull a Duke though, okay? Y'all, he stays in there. And I'm looking like, okay, y'all must be getting married quickly because you didn't grab anything. You didn't pull out. You stayed in there. She then asks if they could do it again. And he says, yes, but give me 5 minutes. And he's like, no, make that 10. And they laugh, and it's cute. When they finish, she asks him if she looks a mess, and he says, yes, but you're my mess. It just shows how comfortable they are with one another, and it was a nice scene. We see Francesca out with Lord Kilmartin. It's clear she's into him. She tells him some stories about her childhood and her playing the piano, and that she's been playing since she was 5, how she would wake up at 6 in the morning, and it used to get on her siblings' nerves. They speak of marriage, and she tells him that she does wish to be married, and she hopes that her husband will not hide her piano stool from her the way Anthony did. He says he wouldn't dream of it. A lot of people complain about all these different storylines on Twitter and about the characters and things like that. Like when I was out of town the other day, I was talking to my cousin. She was like, I just don't like how fast this was and how many characters they introduced and all this other stuff. But I kind of enjoy it because it's keeping me engaged, not focusing on just, Penelope and Colin. I don't feel like they're cheated yet, but I haven't watched the whole thing, so we'll see if my thoughts change over it. We see Kate and Eloise talk. Eloise admits to how hurt she is that both Penelope and Colin have been hiding secrets from her. Kate tells her to be honest with her brother about her feelings and that the truth is the best course of action, which this moment is important because Kate has seen what not telling the truth has done. Her and her sister were able to repair things, but it could have been way worse. And she did end up hurting her sister initially when she found out. We see Lady Featherington talking to Varley, saying that she feels bad because she didn't know that Penelope actually had made a love match. And she's thinking like, is it right that, Colin thinks I'm just about social standing? Yes, because that's what you are about. She says that she feels bad because a lot of people don't make love matches, that it wasn't so much that she didn't think that Penelope could do it, but it was just not a common thing. I think it's a combination of both. I think that she belittled Penelope too much for me to not think that that had something to do with it. We then hear from Varley that the solicitor was at the house again looking for Lady Featherington, which lets us know that this may become a problem because why is he already looking for her again? We see Penelope is about to tell Colin her secret, but they are interrupted by staff's arrival. They have to hurry up and get out of there because they're not supposed to be alone together, let alone naked laying on a chase. So they sneak out into the carriage. As they're riding back, they are interrupted by the Queen's royal messengers, and the messengers make an announcement that £5,000 will be given to the person who finds Lady Whistledown. Which, worries Penelope because now she's going to have more people looking for her. We see Eloise fuss about Penelope to Colin. He tells her that it will mean a lot if he gets her blessing because he loves Penelope. He then hands her some paperwork that talks about the Queen's reward. She actually looks concerned, but it doesn't last long because she does everything in her power to make their engagement party uncomfortable, in my opinion, for Penelope. We see Lady Featherington telling the girls that they need to be nice to Penelope from here on out, and that they are not going to be attending the engagement party. I would think that with everyone else being there, that they should have been there as well. I don't understand why she wouldn't let them go. She was worried about, I guess, them embarrassing Penelope, but Lady Featherington on her own was an embarrassment. And I think the thought of being in-laws with Lady Featherington really drives Lady Bridgerton nuts. Lady Whistledown. It seems like the only thing quicker than the match between Ms. Featherington and Mr. Bridgerton is the rest of London's quick return to old ways, with Lady Featherington racing to attach herself to the Bridgertons and the Queen back on her fruitless hunt for Lady Whistledown. But this secret is one that cannot be rushed. We see Will Mondridge bothered about his ledgers. He's sitting there going through them, and Alice is like, you got to take time off tonight. He doesn't want to. And she's like, no, you need to take time off this week and focus on the family. Of course, she's taking the advice of Lady Danbury because Lady Danbury said, do what you got to do to get him to fall in line. So it's the night of the engagement party. Kate has done a fabulous job, and Benedict lets her know it. Penelope enters, and she looks beautiful as Colin approaches her, and Lady Featherington immediately begins laying it on thick. Lady Bridgerton and Lady Danbury look on at the couple as Lady Danbury says that anyone who questions their match is a fool. And the best thing about it is all she had to do was be herself, which is something that the ladies aren't taught to do. They're taught to do things to make the men desire them, whereas Penelope didn't have to do that with Colin. So her saying that is important. Lady Bridgerton says she's an extraordinary young woman, and she is. Penelope doesn't even get to enjoy her night, though, because as soon as Eloise spots her, she lets her know that she better reveal the truth to Colin or she'll do it herself. She tells her that she has until midnight and she walks away. It's so messed up that she did this. I hate that she couldn't just enjoy her moment. Why couldn't you wait until after to say that? Or why not come to her house and address it with her? Why wait until her party to say something? So now the clock is ticking because midnight will be here before she knows it. Colin starts a beautiful toast. Pen, I look forward to our life together, to knowing each other fully, and to never taking a single day with you for granted. Eloise destroys the mood then by saying, here's to knowing each other completely before the clock runs out. And you can tell everyone is like, what? What? But Penelope knows exactly what she's talking about. She then says the clock of life, of course, it ticks for us all to good health. While playing a game, the tension between Elle and Pen is so thick that it makes me uncomfortable. They do the game for a while. We enter out of that part of the room to another where we see Lady Bridgerton, Anthony, Kate, Francesca, and Lord Kilmartin. Earlier, Francesca asked him to tell a story about Boots, but he couldn't do it. He made it real awkward because, like her, he feels uncomfortable when there's too many eyes on him, so he finally tells the story. He says, without such an audience, I should like to share with you three the story of my muddy boots. Here's what truly happened. A suspicious streak of mud found its way into our home. And there we were, myself, the servants, even my mother, chasing this mysterious mud through the house. Even as the servants tried to clean it, more spots appeared, as if from a phantom. As I reached the end of my rope, I finally looked down to discover that the phantom was, in fact, me, chasing the mud with my own boots. All that to say, sometimes I miss what's right in front of me, but not Miss Francesca. Her, I saw straight away. I said, you better come on here, Lord Kilmartin. That is a way to do it because he's not trying to be anybody else. He's being himself. And Lady Bridgerton finally gets it. She says, you're right. This is quite a story after all. She sees how happy Francesca is with him. And even though she's reluctant about how the queen may respond, you can tell that she's going to support her child. Antony them seem pleased too. We see Penelope walking around. All these various conversations are occurring about Whistledown. They're going down here, they're going down there, wondering who she is, wondering if they catch her. Colin approaches her and the clock strikes 12. She's sweating and she looks stressed. She tells him that she has something to tell him. Meanwhile, Antony and Kate pull Lady Danbury and Lady Bridgerton over to the side and tell them that they are expecting. They, of course, cannot contain their excitement. Antony and then Kate are about to announce their news to everyone because he gets everyone's attention when Cressida interrupts and says, I have an announcement to make. You're looking for Lady Whistledown? I am she. And Lady Featherington doesn't believe it, but she's doing it. Cressida does not want to marry a man 3 times her age. So she decided that she's going to get those 5,000 pounds from Queen Charlotte by saying that she's Whistledown because nobody's going to want to be with her. She'll have enough money to go off on her own and she'll be able to have her own life. And the thought of marrying somebody so old versus revealing that she is Whistledown and having to deal with the talk of the town and what they would have to say, it switches up things. Penelope hears this announcement and ends up saying that she can't breathe, and she passes out. She knows that she has to tell Colin things, and once she tells him, that it might ruin everything. And that is the end. I know that I may have left some parts out. If there's something that you want to discuss, put it down below. I'm interested in your thoughts on this one. What did you all think of the scene between Penelope and Colin? I think that both actors did an excellent job. I loved how he told her basically that he saw her. I loved how gentle he was with her. I loved how pleased she was with him, and how much you can see them falling more and more in love with each other as this episode went on. Like the video, it helps the channel. Until next time.